So recently, Finland has been running an experiment on the universal basic income. So that's basically where the government decides to give people money, no strings attached, right? Now, the Finnish government, it's been reported at several different places that the Finnish government has rejected a proposal to extend the experiment. Now, let me give you what Fox News has reported. They said the Finnish government announced Tuesday that it will end the country's universal basic program by year's end and appears to be taking on new measures to cut benefits to those who do not actively seek employment. They also said Finland was the first European country to consider. Finland was considered the first European country to pay a monthly check of $685 to its unemployed between ages 25 and 58. It was considered a pilot program serving 2,000 randomly selected jobless people that its founders hope to expand. Okay. Now, Wired, however, reports it a little bit differently. Now, they said, although many reports claim that this meant the end of the basic income in Finland, this actually means that the experiment will only run until the end of 2018, as initially planned. So, Fox News basically reports it as, they decided to pull the plug. I guess they got sick of paying all those lazy bums. Whereas Wired says, no, they're ending it exactly where they said they were going to end it. Now, there's the question of why. Why they decided to end it, right? Again, Fox News was like, well, obviously, it doesn't work. Universal basic income, you're just giving it to lazy people who are going to sit around their couches and eat ding-dongs and smoke pot. Which actually sounds kind of fun. But anyway, now, Wired's just saying, no, they ended the program because that's when they said they were going to end the program. Now they're going to study what actually happened. In fact, I have a quote here about this and about the media reports about this. Now, this is Miska Simon, I can't say her last name, his last name, sorry. But he's a researcher at Kela, that is the Finnish government agency behind the trial of universal basic income. Now he says, quote, it seems that there's some misinformation spreading in international media about the Finnish basic income experiment. Well, you don't say. Gee, no, are you saying that Fox News would intentionally misreport a story to put a specific spin on it? No. I am shocked. I thought Fox News operated at the highest levels of journalistic integrity. I know, laugh along with me, right? Now, Miska continues. He says, quote, there are currently no plans to continue or expand the experiment after 2018. But this is not new information. Now, again, this was reported by Fox News as new information, but they're not the only one. This was also reported by the New York Times. Now, they wrote, and this is a New York Times piece on this, the Finnish government has opted not to continue financing it this year, a reflection of public discomfort with the idea of dispensing government largesse free of requirements that its recipients seek work. So, again, look at that framing. And this is coming from the New York Times, which was quoted by Fox News. So, or linked to by Fox News. Now, look, that framing, of course, is not true. Now, Miska explains, the Finnish government will now wait for results from this initial trial before making any decisions about a wider rollout of the initiative. And look, it is very possible that they could find something that is basically means to not roll out this program in a wider initiative. And they could find that people decided to sit on their ass and eat ding-dongs and smoke pot. Again, that sounds awesome. But anyway, wouldn't want to do it every day, though. I would eventually want to do something, and I would probably end up doing the show still if I got a UBI. But anyway, it'd be a lot easier to live, though. That's for sure. Excuse me. Now, he explains, the results from the trial will be available by the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. So again, they're going to do the research. They're going to see what happened when they gave jobless people money? Did they go out and did they look for jobs, or did they sit on their butt, or did they go and create businesses, which is the whole idea behind a UBI, that you give people a cushion, a little bit of a safety net, so that they can actually work out some ideas, maybe become entrepreneurs or go back to school or do something, or maybe just work a little bit less or have one of their family members stop working. They can spend more time with the family. That's also a positive outcome. Not so much economically, but I think personally that would be a great outcome. We don't know. We'll have to wait for the results. So maybe Fox News should wait, and the New York Times should wait before coming to this conclusion. But again, this was already a foregone conclusion. They don't care about the results. All they want to do is try to prevent the idea from taking off here. Now, let me give you more details into what Finland is actually doing. Now, they're experimenting with a very narrow vision of a basic income that would focus on understanding whether giving monthly payments to people out of work changes their employment prospects. Now, since January of 2017, a random sample of 2,000 unemployed people had been given a monthly 560 euros with no obligation to seek or accept employment during the duration of the trial. According to the BBC, Kela had asked the government for an extra 40 to 70 million euros to fund basic income for a group of employed people, which would actually be more closer to an actual true universal system. Again, universal basic income means that everybody gets an income regardless of if you work or not. So, look, unfortunately they didn't get that because right now, strangely enough, Finland has a center-right government focused more on austerity. But I look at Finland and they make our right wing look like socialists. So that's just how crazy the Overton window has gotten here in America. Now, they say that reforming the Social Security system is strongly on the political agenda. Now, there it doesn't necessarily mean the same as it does in America, where reform always tends to mean cuts. In this case, when they talk about reform, they talk about whether or not they're adding a universal basic income to everybody. So that's the kind of reform they're talking from the center-right government. Crazy. Now, Miska explains, however, politicians are also discussing many other models of Social Security than just basic income. We expect to see a lot of discussions on Social Security reforms and further experiments then. So again, to recap, they're not pulling the plug. They're just planning to end the experiment right on time, just as they has always planned to do. And then they're going to study the results, and then they're going to move forward on policy decisions later on. Isn't that amazing to see what a functional government looks like? They do an experiment, they collect the results, they study the results, and then they decide what to do on a policy basis based on those results. That's amazing. We don't do that here in America. Instead, it's like, no, my rhetoric says we cut taxes for the rich, and then it trickles down on everybody. Well, we just accept that. And so let's just do it. But the Congressional Budget Office says you're going to blow a $1.9 trillion hole in the deficit. I don't care about that. That's facts, fake news, right? We operate on alternative facts. So let's just go ahead and do it because that's going to make my donors so incredibly happy. That's how we work in America. And it's very interesting to see how a functional democracy works. But anyway, what the New York Times and Fox News is reporting is basically from a specific viewpoint, a specific framing, that the government and the people are uncomfortable at the end of the day with giving out what they call free money to basically lazy people for doing nothing. And so they're going to say that any end to any of these UBI programs, and specifically this program, was a result of that discomfort and a result. And so they're looking at this through a specific right-wing framing. But that's not the reality. The reality is they're doing an experiment just like a lot of other countries are also doing a similar experiment. In fact, let me give you some Let me some details. Give you some details on that. In Ontario, Canada, for example, 2 cities and a town have been on a trial of a basic income since June of 2017. The participants, who can have any employment status, are split into 2 groups. You have one who receives basic income payments of up to $17,000 in Canadian dollars, while the others don't get anything at all. So there's a control group, and then there's obviously the group that okay, so I'm unfamiliar with that phrase, but there's one group that gets money, there's one group that does not get money. Okay, fair enough. Now, people at work will also have their payments reduced by about 50%. And it's only available to those who are on a low income. So it's not truly universal. But again, this is a trial program. Now, currently about 2,000 people are taking part in that Canadian trial, although that figure is expected to rise to about 4,000 as the trial continues. And now people in the group receiving that money could be part of the experiment for as long as 3 years. So this could go on until 2020. Now, Canada isn't the only one. Spain is also looking into it, specifically people in Barcelona. Now, they're in the middle of their own basic income experiment, launched in October of 2017, called B-Min-Cum. The trial involves 2,000 participants, again, half of them in a control group that doesn't receive any money. The other half is receiving around, I think, 400 to 525 euros over the next 2 years. The money comes with some conditions, however. It's given to households, not individuals, and some participants only receive the money if they attend support programs related to employment, housing, and community action. Scotland is also taking their own tentative steps towards basic income. However, there are no details on how that's actually going to work. And of course, here in America, there is one town that is actually looking to do this as well, and that's Stockton, California. Now, the reason that Fox News and all these other outlets that have reported on this from corporate media hate this is because, well, this could mean higher taxes on them if this works. The people in Stockton do end up starting more businesses and do end up having more positive results and finding better work and helping the community as a result of universal basic income. Well, then these people who are wealthy, they're like, oh shit, we might actually see higher taxes. We're going to have to pay higher taxes so that those people, the people that we don't like, end up getting free money. Well, I don't like that. I want to keep my own money, and then I want to hoard it, or I want to put it in the stock market where I can make even more money. Again, a lot of this is about greed. So that is why you see all these establishment outlets that are deeply skeptical of the program. Now, that's no reason not to experiment with this. And look, with so many people in places that are actually trying this out, it's not a surprise to see the elites wanting to frame it in a certain way in order to try to destroy and discredit the idea. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.